Welcome to Pick Up and Deliver, the podcast where I pick up my audio recorder as I head out for a walk and deliver an episode to you while I stroll around. I'm Brendan Riley. Well, good morning, listeners. It is February 1st, 2023, and that means it's time for a new Top of the Stack. Boop-a-doop-doop-doo. All right, Top of the Stack is a monthly segment I do as the ideally first episode of each month, in which I talk about my gameplays from the previous month. We talk about some goals we've set, how far we're coming along on our yearly goals, and basically just kind of generally go over what games we played this month. It's a good time to take stock of what you've been playing and get ready for the next month. The title, Top of the Stack, comes from a goal I set each month where I pick 3 or 4 games that are something I haven't played in a while or something I want to play and try, and I put them on a metaphorical top of my game stack. So they're games that I really want to play. I'm kind of making a goal of playing them for the month. As I like to remind people, I stole this idea or this name lovingly from the podcast of Nonsensical Gamers, who have not been podcasting for quite some time. I think they had gone defunct before I started podcasting, actually. So it's 5 years ago. But credit where credit's due. I like the idea, and we're playing it. If you want to share your monthly plays, your top of the stack, anything like that, head over to Board Game Geek Guild 3269, where members of the Pick Up and Deliver Guild are sharing their monthly plays, talking about games they played, games they want to play, games they haven't played, etc. All right, let's just jump into it. I would like to start with some stats. My final monthly stats for January are here for you to enjoy right now. So we've got, I had 83 plays in January of 56 different games. Now I do count digital plays, asynchronous plays on Board Game Arena. So that's a big chunk of my plays come from that. I made some progress on my Shelf of Opportunity at the beginning of the year, which is also the beginning of the month. I had 55 games on my Shelf of Opportunity. My goal is to halve that by the end of the year. So any new games I get, I need to play, but I also want to play at least half of those old games to really get that number down. And I'm making good progress. For a start, I got 5 games off of the Shelf of Opportunity, so it's down to 50 games. So that's great. My collection size is exactly the same. It was 553 games going into the month, and it's 553 going out of the month. My most played game on the table was Turing Machine with 3 plays. My most played game digitally was Through the Ages with 5 plays. My top of the stack list for this month, I had 4 games on the list. Generally what I do is I pick out 4 games to play. If I play 3 of them, it's considered a success. Now, one thing I have done in the past is I say, like, I can only get credit 1 point. So I can earn 36 points over the course. The goal is to get 36 points over the course of the year. In the past, I only get points for games that are on the top of my stack that month. But I found that often I'll put a game on my stack for 2 or 3 months, don't get it played, but it's still kind of hanging about in my mind as a game I want to play soon. So then I'll take it off the stack and then I'll play it. And that doesn't feel super great because it's like I finally got around to playing it and I don't get credit for it. And the reason it was on my mind is because I had it on the top of my stack. So I'm introducing a new segment to the top of the stack plan this year. I'm going to try it out and I'm going to call it, Delayed or something like that. And the idea is each month, if I miss any games, I can pick one of the 4 games that I missed, up to 4, and add it to the delay list. And the delay list says that if I play that game later in the year, at some point, I get half point for playing it for the top of the stack, even if it wasn't on the list that month. Now, if I put it on the list that month, it comes back off the delayed list. So I could, if I'm pretty sure I'm going to play it, I could bring it back out as I have done. But I'm only allowed to add 1 game to the delayed list each week or each month. So we'll give that a try, see how that goes. So along those lines, the 4 games that I had on my list this month, the new game was Turing Machine. The top 50 choice was Last Will. The reattempt, this is a game I've had on the list before, and I'm trying again, is This Game Goes to 11. And the dusty choice, this is a game I've played before, but I haven't played in a long time, is Nusfjord. And of those games, I managed to play Turing Machine, as I already mentioned, and This Game Goes to 11. I did not get Last Will played. I had 2 chances that I really wanted to play it at my game club, but other games came up and I just, it didn't get done. And Nusfjord, I did not make it out. Now I'm going to put Last Will on the delayed list. So I do intend to play that sometime soon. So I'm putting it on there. The idea that I really want to play it. So putting it on there. We'll see how it goes. So that's Last Will on the, so I got 2 points this month of the 36 goal. Next up for me, first expansion plays this month. Again, this just documents games where I've played maybe the base game before. I haven't played the expansion. Now I've played the expansion. One of the challenges in figuring out how I'm going to document different kinds of games is games where they're standalone expansions. Do I call this a new game? Do I call it an expansion to a previous game? What if it's like a series of games? In particular, the Unlock, the Exit games, the Adventure games, those ones, it's a question of how to do it. Basically what I do is I say the very first one is the game and all the rest are standalone expansions to that game. And so Adventure Games, Gloom City File is a game we bought this month and we played this month. So I did try one expansion this month. I also like to keep track of my Out of the Dust plays. Out of the Dust plays are games that I have played before, but I played anew, and it's been a year or more since I played them. This is a list. There's a list on Board Game Geek called the Out of the Dust list that's maintained by Anne Lee Journey, and I encourage you to go and participate in that list if you keep track of your games this way. I had 7 games dusted off this month. Again, these are games that I've played, but it's been more than a year since I played them. That was Monikers, 3 years, 8 months, 12 days since I played that. Boy, that's fun. Trekking the National Parks, 2 years, 6 months, 4 days. Nanty Narking, 1 year and 1 day. I really like that one. City of Horror, 3 years, 3 days. Potion Explosion, 2 years, 4 months, 22 days. Gizmos, 2 years, 9 months, 7 days. Super Fight, 5 years, 6 months, 27 days. So that gives you 7 games dusted off this year. I had a good time with most of them, I would say. And then finally, first plays this month. These are games that I had never played before, and I tried them for the first time. Now I'm a little behind on my Shooting from the Hip episodes, so it'll take me a few weeks to catch up. So you're getting a preview of things that I'll be talking about sometime soon. So games that I tried in January: Allow Me to Mansplain, Bad Company, Stupefy, Turing Machine, Argent the Consortium, City Square Off, Word Search, Gambit, also known as Transfer, Port Royal, Mafia de Cuba, Night of the Ninja, Night of the Living Dead, a Zombicide game. This Game Goes to 11, and Twilight Inscription. That makes 14 new games that I tried this month. Ooh, that's a lot of fun. All right, I did announce something new I was trying this month, or this year, in the 10 for 10 sphere. If you've been following the podcast for a while, every year I do a 10 for 10. A 10 for 10 is where you pick 10 games and you play them 10 times each in the course of a year. So that's, the ideal goal would be you get 100 plays and you've played all 10 games all 10 times each. Well, I've tried that in the past and it's worked okay. Sometimes I've made it, sometimes I haven't. And the last couple of years I've tried to do it with my family, and that hasn't gone great just in terms of completing it. It's fun to try. I thought I'd try something a little bit different this year, and that's to pick 10 designers and try to play 10 games by those 10 designers over the course of the year. So it doesn't have to be a single game. It could be any game by that designer would count toward this list. Again, my 10 designers are Martin Wallace, Vladimir Suchy, Reiner Knizia, Inka Brand, Phil Walker Harding, Tom Lehman, Elizabeth Hargrave, Vlada Chvátil, Uwe Rosenberg, and Carl Chudik. Now, I'm keeping track of this in 2 ways. One is at the base level, playing these games, including Board Game Arena or other asynchronous platforms. If I get those plays, it's a win. That makes it much easier. Almost all of these designers have games on the online platforms, and I'm pretty easily able to get some plays in. So making the list that way will take dedication, but it should be doable. And I'm doing pretty well on that. In fact, I've got 27 plays already online. I have 3 for Vladimir Suchy. I have 5 for Reiner Knizia, 2 for Inka Brand. 3 for Inka Brand, 1, 2, 3, 4 for Thomas Lehman, 2 for Elizabeth Hargrave, 3 for Vlada Chvátil, and 3 for Uwe Rosenberg. So I've made a significant amount of progress already in the online implementation. If I'm counting online plays, I've got 27 plays already. Now, if I'm just counting real world plays, I have significantly fewer. I have 7. And that's Nanty Narking, Martin Wallace, London, Martin Wallace, Phil Walker Harding's Adventure Games, Phil Walker Harding's Gizmos, Vlada Chvátil's Codenames, I played that twice, and Uwe Rosenberg's New York Zoo. So that's 7 plays over the course of the month. Now, that's decent. It's a good start. It's not amazing, though. Really, in order to be on track, I need to have 8 to 9 plays a month in those on the table if I want to make the 100 over the course of the year on the table. Like I said, the pacing in the online thing is really solid. And as we go along, I will update you about once I've done 10, including the online plays for Designer. I'll stop counting them for the online plays. And then I'll just be counting the virtual plays or the physical plays after that. So as we go along, like I would imagine that, maybe next month, if not next month, certainly by the month after, I will have logged all the Vlada Chvátil online plays that I need, because I play Through the Ages so much online, for example. But it's still fun to think about it and stretch my legs a little in that way. Okay, so my H index for the year, remember this is number of games that I've played equal to the number of times I've played them, is 3 so far. I've played Through the Ages, My City, and Res Arcana at least 3 times each. I've also played Potion Explosion 3 times, but not 4 times, so I don't have an H index of 4. If I play one more game of Potion Explosion, then I've got an H index of 4, so that should be coming soon. I'm also making very good progress on my 52 game challenge, as I usually do at the beginning of the year. It's really easy to fulfill some of these just in the course of playing games. I can play games for the month, and then I go and look at what I've played and look at the challenges, and I'm like, oh, this fits that, and I can check things off without having really made any effort. So my favorite prompt from 2016 is a game that takes 4+ hours to play. I played the Gloom City File. That's the adventure games thing. My favorite prompt from 2018, a game set in a country I've never visited. London 2nd edition. I have not been to England. A game about a secret. Argent the Consortium. The Consortium is a group of secret voters. You don't know who is voting for what, and that's a big part of the game, is discovering that secret. So, boom. A game set in the country you were born in, New York Zoo, is set in the grand old USA, which is where I was born. A game where the box is mostly white. Turing Machine has that kind of white box aesthetic, so fits that one nicely. A game set in an isolated location. This would be Atlantis Rising, which is a game about the city of Atlantis sinking into the ocean, and you're supposed to keep it from doing so by building a time machine and having everyone escape into the future, I guess. I don't really understand why it's called Rising and not Sinking, but whatever. It's isolated, certainly, and I played it. And then a game based on a classic, that'd be Monikers, which is based on the folk game Celebrities. So that's 7 out of 52 challenges knocked out by the end of the month. Obviously, if I'm trying to do the 52 challenges over the course of 12 months, I need roughly 1 a week, or roughly 4 to 5 a month. So 7 is a good start. All right, I said that my collection size stays the same. There were 2 parts to that. One, January is very busy, so I never visit Goodwill, or hardly ever get to Goodwill in January. I think I had 2 Goodwill stops, neither of which resulted in purchasing a game. So that keeps my collection from getting very big. I did get a gift of the game Mosaic, A Story of Civilization, but I also played this game Word Search, which I'll talk about in a future podcast. But having played it once, I was like, that's enough. I don't think I need to play it again. And the game comes with these really nice wooden discs with letters on them. And so I'm like, this would be a nice component to have for some game design. I will swipe this for parts. So I disassembled Word Search, took the board to be used if I need a board, took the pieces, put them in a bag, put them on my game design stuff, recycled the box. So that game is not in my collection anymore. So I got a game, got rid of a game. So I've talked about the expansion play a little bit, the Gloom City Files, and then the top 50 challenge. My goal was to play each of the 12 remaining top 50 games that I haven't played since I made my top 50 at the beginning of 2022, before the end of 2023. And my goal was to play Last Will this month, and I did not. So I still have 12 games to play from that list. Yikes. All right. Which brings me to the end of my episode here, which is to compile the top of the stack for next month. So thinking ahead, keeping Last Will on my delayed or credit list, I have 4 new games to put on the list. First, we got the new attempt, and this is Mosaic. This is a game that a new game. I've played it before because I played someone else's copy, but now that I have my own copy, I want to play it again while I still remember it. So I'm going to try this month to get Mosaic, A Story of Civilization played. The next game from my top 50 choice is Five Tribes. Five Tribes is a great game. We have it at Toggle Game Club. I actually don't own a copy of this game, but it's very good, and I'm looking forward to playing it. So I'm going to review it and give it a play at Toggle. My weird choice is going to be, this could also be the new choice. Maybe this is the new choice and Mosaic is the reattempt. No, I'll just call this the novelty choice. Maybe I have a reattempt or a novelty choice each month. I don't know. This is the Perry Mason game. My friend Rob found this at Goodwill and gave it to me. It looks amusing and silly, but I thought I'd give it a try. So the Perry Mason game. And then finally, the Dusty choice. I haven't played the Martin Wallace path building game Via Nebula in a while, and it's really good. It's an excellent little path builder with some interesting choices and complicated resource management. It takes about an hour to play, which is a nice level. So I'm going to review those rules and I'll bring it to my game club and hopefully get it played there because it's good and I like it and I want to play it again. So that's my top of the stack. And that brings me to the end of the episode. So I'm curious, friends, how has your month of gaming gone? Have you played a lot? Have you played a little? Have you played nothing at all? Have you tried out some new games? Did you accomplish your top of the stack? Did you set one to begin with? Head over to Board Game Geek, Guild 3269, to share your thoughts about what you're going to play this month and what you played last month. We'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to play some games with me, either help me with my 10 games by 10 designers challenge, or just show me something new, reach out to me. You can send me an email, brendan@rattleboxgames.com. You could send me a text direct message on Board Game Geek to Wombat929, and we can set up a gameplay. Alternately, if you want to connect with me through the asynchronous gaming platforms, Board Game Arena, Boitaju, or Yucata.de, on all three of those, my username is Wombat929, and on all three of these, I would enjoy playing a game with you. Come on over and see what there is to offer. I've been particularly enjoying the Vladimir Suchy game, Messina 1347, which is available to play on Yucata in a pretty decent implementation, if I may say so myself. As if I had anything to do with it. I did not. So head on over and let us know what you're thinking. Well, thanks for joining me on a walk today. I hope that your next walk is as pleasant as mine was. Bye-bye.
Brought to you by Rattlebox Games.